Okay, my name is Reverend Father Angelo Chidi Unegbu. I'm a priest of the Catholic Diocese of Okigwe. But I don't live, at the moment I live and work in Germany.
Thank you, Father. Father, there was an article you wrote on the internet concerning IGBO people. Please, can you talk to us about it?
Yes, I think that should be some 4, 5, 6 weeks ago.
Okay.
Igbo people article was an article that came up based on the current situation of Unegbu. And I just wanted to make a historical analysis to trace what led to where we are today. Besides, I'm a church historian. Yeah. So that is why most of my write-ups are always historical. And Igbo people tries to trace where we came from, where we are, and why we are where we are. And the Igbo man, from the time immemorial, had qualities that made him Igbo. Being born in Igbo land wasn't enough to make one an Igbo. There were other traits, there were other characteristics. For instance, truth-telling was one of them. Community spirit. Onyagala nwanne was there. The respect for life, this respect for brotherhood, the respect for community laws. And these laws were laws that kept society together. And respect hard work, the spirit of hard work, the spirit, the philosophy of Akọ n'uche. These things all this came together and made every young man, woman, an Igbo. And that is why when the Igbo people, especially the men, gather together, they shout Igbo kwenu. The reply is, yeah. The yeah means I'm really one. Okay. But there were also people who were not able to fit into the system. And before I go into this other group that really are the problems of Igbo, that time until now, I would also like to tell us how these traits were imparted to children. At that time, there wasn't anything like formal education in the schools that the way we have them today. Every parent was a teacher. People at home were in school. At work, they were in school. At every point in time, they were in school. So everyone, not just the parent or the elderly brothers and sisters, were the tutors, but every elder was also considered to be a teacher. And the Igbo we used to say, "Otu onye anagi azonwa." Yeah, that's why the child is there, is a pupil for every adult. For every adult. So, and that's what the situation was. And people kept to this to make sure every child was completely Igbo, every girl was completely Igbo. Girls also were tutored mainly by the mothers. They were tutored in things concerning cooking, for instance, keeping the house, training children, and also being morally upright. In this case, also being virgins. Yeah, because at that time, there were hardly situations that anyone got married and was not a virgin. Yeah, so these mothers were so proud of having morally brought up their children, their girls especially, and the men also, the boys. And the boys were also trained to be strong, to be warriors, to be fearless, but respectful. The boys were also trained to protect the society, the secrets, to respect the deities, the oracles, and make sure that the traditional norms are observed. So they were also groomed, becoming the custodians of culture and tradition. But there were groups who didn't fit into this Igbo group. And they were called in Igbo land the Efulefus.
Okay.
So these Efulefus were the people who couldn't, maybe the fault was maybe from their parents, or they were simply that way. Yeah. And the Igbo people dreaded these people. They didn't want to mix up with them. They didn't want to bring them in because they knew. It is only now we are seeing why they did that. Because the fear was that these people could leak a secret, community secret. These people could pose threats, dangers to the society. These people could open doors for the enemies, and all that and all that. And it turned out that way because when the when the colonial masters came, what happened? They wanted to penetrate the Igbo land, just like they did to every other African tribe. It wasn't easy for them. It took more than 20 years of military conquest, of military attack to subdue Igbo land. Because what saved Igbo land was each time they came and asked people, who is your king? And the people say, we have no king. Because they had this system of conquering people through their leaders. The Igbo people will say, we have no kings. Every one of us is a king in his own house. That was difficult for them. And they tried all ways, trying to bribe people. It wasn't possible because the Igbo was unbribable. What did they do? They got wind of the Efulefus.
Okay.
They said, that is now, we are going to use these people. And they went to every village. They were looking, Efulefu simply means a village fool. They went from village to village looking for village fools. And they got them, gave them warrant, this staff of office, and they called them warrant chiefs. Yeah, and they gave them police protection, even in some cases military protection. They built big houses, got everything, lived unlike other people, because the colonial masters were corrupt, they were also corrupt. That was simply also the genesis of corruption in Igbo land. Before then, there was no corruption. It was these people who came and people saw a new system of wealth. Oh, so one can also become rich without having big yams or big barns, without being a farmer. So this is possible. Then it became attractive. Being a Efulefu now became attractive. Yeah. And people went into it and went into it and went into it. And we must also remember that before ever the colonial masters introduced the warrant chieftaincy, there was this system of selling slaves. The Igbos were slave dealers. Yeah, even though some people would say that didn't happen, but it happened. Historically, the facts are there. So in most cases, the Efulefus were easily sold off. Parents sold their children because they were naughty, they were fools. Yeah, even though such things stand to be condemned, but these things happened. And people didn't see it as anything because Efulefu being sold is a plus to the society. So that was the way they considered it. Even in terms of other things like the Igbo people were a people that wanted complete sanity in the society. And that was why when children were born, they needed just a sign from the child. And they said, this child would bring calamity to the society. Let's kill him. But they didn't kill. They allowed the child to die. One, if the child was born a twin, they said, twin? No, that is a bad omen. They took the child or the children to the evil forest because the law was against killing the Igbos. Before the white men started abolishing capital punishment, the Igbos thousands of years ago have done that. There was hardly a capital punishment. Somebody killing somebody, no. They took those people to the evil forest. Either they sent people away in terms of criminals, in the cases of criminals, they sent them away. They were banished. But in cases of kids, they were thrown into the Igbo forest and allowed to die.
To face their fate.
Yeah. So this, like I narrated shortly, the colonial masters, at the end of the day, succeeded in penetrating Igbo land through the Efulefus. And this was beautifully captured by Chinua Achebe in his novel Things Fall Apart. And he said, he came to us and deceived us. And we amused at his stupidity and we allowed him to stay. And now he has put a knife on that held us together. And we have fallen apart. And the society since then can no longer hold together. So this is the history of the Efulefu and of what they did to our culture, to the tradition. And since then, there has been a constant erosion of values of culture. And something that the most painful part of it, or the real harm that shattered the whole egg, was what they did to unity. Igwebike, that held Igbo society together. Igwebike, Onyaga na Nwanne, they put a knife on that. And that is what we are suffering today. That is why, and they didn't stop that. They went, so since they discovered that the best way to conquer the Igbo was to divide them, then they said, God, we thank you for giving us the secret. The division of the Igbo has not stopped it today. So those who want to conquer the Igbo, they do that through the Efulefus, and the Efulefus are always given the mandate, the job to continue the division. And that is how the areas like River State came into existence with military fiat. People were cut off. And they said, you're no longer Igbo, you are Rivers. Even those who were Obi-Igbo, answering Obi-Igbo, I said, they're no longer Igbo. People who are answering, people started adding Aro, Rumo, Koro, Rumo, instead of Omu. Now Aro started coming up. Just to deter them, you are not these people. Division. Who did this thing? The Efulefus. We are used to do this. The same Efulefus are always here. Even during the Biafran War, who sabotaged the Efulefus. They always, the idea is get one of them. Look for them. They have too many of them. And today is unfortunate, the Efulefu has become lucrative. So even people, even the Igbo want to become an Efulefu, to be rich. Because those who are playing the music, they know if the best way to that they know the Igbo people, they love money. So try to make Efulefuism of Efulefu status, try to make them rich, the Efulefus, then you get them. And that's what we are. What are we seeing today? Every Igbo boy, every Igbo young man, girl, they are rushing into politics. What are they going to do? To become a Efulefu. They're not going to serve. They are not going to serve. And don't forget also, in the real Igbo society, the people, the politicians served freely, you understand? Politicians served freely, or rather, they weren't being paid, you understand? They didn't receive any money for the services they rendered to the people. And when the people who came to divide the Igbo people, they told the Fulani, no. Politics is not free of charge. When you must be paid for what you do, and you must be paid big money. You must be paid big money. And that has destroyed the whole of Igbo society, because being a Fulefu has become very, very attractive. And that is why today, no Igbo person who wants to be considered an Igbo politician can openly come out to stand for an Igbo agenda. No, because that is a crime. That is a crime for those the masters. It's a big offense. So, because the real job for Ofulefu is to divide. So, if someone comes to unite, he's in trouble. He will lose his job, because that is not your job. Your job as an Igbo politician is merely to become an Efulefu. So, if you're a good Efulefu, you are rich. If you don't play your cards well as a Fulefu, you are kicked out. We have seen so many of them who are kicked out. So, and that's what we are having today. So for Ndi Igbo to really advance today in solve their problem, to be free, to really be free, I think the first problem the Igbo people have to do is to they shouldn't kill people this time more. I'm not advocating that people should be killed, but to make sure the Ifulefus do not occupy important seats in the area of leadership. Everything should be done to make sure that the people who are voted into politics or into power are the real Igbo. But do we still have them? That is the question. Do we still have them? Because being an Igbo today, one has to be ready to sacrifice too much, including in your political office.